A lot of people talking about this question. Sarah,
Mm.
who attacked Trick?
It has to be Mello, right? Especially because then Mello is like, I'm gonna dedicate my title match against Ilya to Trick. I'm like, oh honey, you are going straight evil, aren't you? You know,
I
to
saw a
me,
rumor. What? Go.
I was gonna say that just feels like the oldest trick in the book. You know what I mean? To try and be all like, oh yeah, no, like, oh, I feel so sad about this. I can't believe this happened to him. He's my best friend, and it's like I'm gonna dedicate this one to you. And it's like, yeah, okay, you're trying to make yourself look innocent, but you're not. You're
That
not,
is
little
evil.
Mello.
No, that is very evil. I saw a theory online that
Okay.
it could be Wesley. Have not seen Wesley in some time.
That is true since he lost the title, basically.
And there's a backstage promo of the Trick and Mello in the locker room. And
Mm-hmm.
Wesley's cleaning out his locker room and he's listening to the conversation about, Trick wanting to get to that next title picture,
Mm-hmm.
but not wanting to step on Mello spotlight because he wants, both of them to have titles and
Right.
run NXT.
Yeah.
Wesley was the ultimate babyface, and he kind of showed signs of like being a heel with his aggression and anger after losing the North American Championship to
Mm-hmm.
Dom in the fashion that he did. So why not frame Mello? Why not just
Yeah.
take out Trick?
Mm-hmm.
I am kind of on the same boat that it is Mello. Wrestling
Mm-hmm.
repeats itself. Shawn Michaels is the booker, and Triple H runs the company.
Yeah.
Follow the buzzards, really.
Well, and
But
what
for conversation purposes and a swerve, there could be a nice swerve.
well, and what's interesting to think about too is like, I mean, it's been rumored that Mello was going to be one of the ones called up to the main roster fairly soon. I mean, it's been for months. People thought that once he lost the title, that meant that he was going.
Mhm.
Same thing that happened with Braun Breaker. People thought that was happening, and then it didn't happen.
Because he
So
was
it would
in.
be kind of interesting to think of that if that is what ends up happening. I wouldn't have anticipated a heel Carmelo Hayes on the main roster. That,
But what if he's not a heel just yet? What if he comes in as a baby face?
but I just mean if they're gonna have him be the guy that attacked his best friend, I mean that's not being a good guy. So that's what I mean. But I don't
Or
know.
if he turned on Trick, joins the Street Profits or
Oh
Soup
yeah.
Profits, and he's like, I had to let go of Trick. He wasn't on my level of aggression and whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and we've seen that interaction, with Lashley and whatever. So
and then Lashley could say that Trick was bringing Mello down. He saw it. Like,
mm-hmm.
Mello is too obvious. I think either Mello paid off Dijak, which that would be very interesting, or Wesley returns the heel. So, all right, okay.
Wesley, I wouldn't be mad about either because I do think that like he was getting kind of corny too. I don't know if that's the proper term, but like I think that there's just certain times where you can kind of tell that someone's stale, whether they're like, I mean, and that's nothing against his in ring talent, obviously, but I think that it's like, okay, it's ran its course. Like there needs to be some sort of change here. And a lot of the time that means, yeah, you're flipping from being a good guy to a bad guy or bad guy to a good guy because it's really the only way that you can change. Other than I think when you're a heel, you kind of have more options because being bad, there's so many levels to being bad, where being good is just kind of always like, I'm a good guy, like there's not
Yeah.
really anything else you can do. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is the direction too, because I I feel like they might be trying to get to a point where they don't have roster call ups until the draft. Like,
Mm.
what if they do that instead of having the like random call ups throughout the year or something? Maybe they wait until the draft to actually do the NXT call ups. And if that's the case, then we don't have to worry about what Mello is doing right now because in 6 months when they have the draft, it's not going to be relevant. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's just weird. I'm very. It makes NXT very interesting next week. I'll tell you that. Like,
Yeah.
what if Trick comes out in an ambulance or something during
Yeah.
the match and like
Hmm.
attacks Mello?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that'd
like
be.
the Usos versus each other, It's like at that same level too. Like you never thought it was something that you were going to see, but now you might actually see it.
Yeah, it's anything can happen right now.
And it's a good way to bring them back together if they like Trick finds out like Melo was framed. You know, I think that like what Richard said, it's like it seems too obvious that it would be Melo because we have seen it so many times in WWE. So it would be nice to kind of make it almost like a crime show, you know, like of Clue. It's like, okay, you know,
Bring back WWE Investigates.
Yeah, it just makes it a lot more interesting. You know, very unexpected, even though we're talking about it. I would think that the vast majority of people who watch are not thinking this broadly
we're
about
smarter
it,
than
you
the
know?
average fan. That's why we have a show. We are
Okay.
smarter than the average fan.
Whatever you say.
I'm the champ. Come on, Sarah. Come on.
Alrighty.